have the same ensnare contain that it has. You know, there's not a whole lot of skill in instinct. It's just a natural advantage that Orc has over Ed in this cookie cutter build. To the point that I don't really have to fight it until I have a better him, which is what, you know, is happening right now. No matter how well Lucifer microed in this battle, he had really no chance of winning this fight. He was down 20 food. You know, I might have been even, well, not I, but an Orc player on my level, a little bit better than me, could have beaten Lucifer with that army. You know, you don't have to be grubby when you have a 20 food advantage to beat a pro. So, really intelligent strategy on Grubby's part. And it all started with the map control he gained with a really strong harass. And I'm going to blame her for that harass, because like I said, his creep route wasn't the best. Anyways, that's the last times for this audio. I got a PM from a few people asking me to talk a little bit at the end of the audio about battle micro, and just like my thought process when I get into a battle. For certain races, you know, what I micro first, like what I control, what my goals are, etc., etc., etc. The first thing I want to say, and this is, you know, I'm still learning how to do this, and it distinguishes me from the players above me, and the players above me from the pros. Don't fight the battles you can't win. The first thing that every pro does, and I should be doing, the first thing I should be doing every time I enter a battle is ask myself if I can win the battle. And if I can't win the battle, can I accomplish anything by fighting that battle? Can I kill a hero and then, you know, get out? Can I, you know, do some damage before I have to run out? Or do I have to run instantly? And if I have to run, do I have to port? Do I have to speed scroll? Can I speed scroll? Does he have ensnare? How can I get out with minimal losses if I'm forced to get out? So that's the first thing. Honestly, it doesn't really qualify as micro, I guess, but it's the first major mistake that that amateur players make, is fighting battles that they can't win. And I'll give you an example of that on my level of play. I often put up I get like a tier 1 advantage, tier 2 advantage, and I throw up an expansion, and I fight a 50-50 food battle while my expansion is going up, instead of doing a hit and run and letting the expansion go up and, you know, letting my gold advantage take effect. So basically, I negate the advantage of my expansion by fighting before it's given me any extra gold. And it, like, mentally I'll be like, okay, I have an expansion almost up or up. You know, I have an advantage, I can fight this fight, but really it's 50-50 food, and it's very possible that I lose the fight. You know, why would you do that? Why wouldn't you port to your expansion or port to your base, and just wait that little bit longer for your gold income to take effect? Another example is if you've been banking, say you're 50 for 70 food, and then you go into upkeep instantly with, like, you know, I'll give an example versus dots. You know, build. Or sorry, Veludu versus human. You build a grunt, a raider, or grunt, a kodo, and a walker. That's 10 food right there. You built that after banking, so now you're at 60 food. But in reality, your army is only 50 food. And you go out and find a fight versus the human. And even if he's only at 50 food, you have 60 food if you wait a little bit longer to fight. So why force the fight at 50 food when you could fight at 60 food? And those are the mistakes that I make, and if I'm making them, the players below me are definitely making them. And those are mistakes that you don't see pro players making. And that last game is an example. Grubby could have ported to his expansion, could have forced a fight, and he probably would have won that fight, to be honest. It would have been close. It would have been a lot closer than what he did. And he took advantage of his race, took advantage of the fact that he has fast raiders with siege damage, and he just traded ports and did more damage to Lucifer than Lucifer could do to him. And that same strategy works pretty much against every race, because we have siege damage raiders and they have, you know, what, mass caster or mass fiend. Maybe it wouldn't work so well versus bears. That's the one strategy that they can take down an expo pretty much as quickly as the raiders can take down a base. But it's worth knowing if you're Orc that you can do that. As far as battle micro goes, I digressed again. I'm so sorry. Battle micro. Positioning, again, establish good positioning. It's really, really, really important for Orc, and it's one of the reasons that a strategy like dots are so difficult. You need to get your raiders next to the dots, because if the raiders are doing damage to heroes and to pocket factory summons and quill beasts, they're not doing any damage. It's all negated, and that's part of, like, you know, the inherent difficulty of playing a melee race, is that you need to be in good position in every fight, and good position means being next to your opponent. So the first things I do, I guess, are ensnare the weakest fiends or weakest units nearby. Focus. Then I split up my army into, like, and I'll have like a few grunts focusing one thing, and the Blade Master focusing another thing, and another few grunts focusing another thing. You want to focus fire, but you don't want to focus fire with your whole army. You want to divide your army up as best you can to focus fire whatever's ensnared and nearby. Don't focus what isn't ensnared. If you focus what isn't ensnared versus undead, they're going to burrow the fiend. They're going to pull it back with Unholy Aura. If you focus what isn't ensnared versus elf, they'll staff. Versus human, they'll make it go invisible. Like ensnares, you get raiders for a reason, even in battles. Focus what you ensnare. Next up, heroes getting into good position using Healing Wave and Hex. Hex to disrupt coil. That's one of the huge benefits of Hex early on. Is that you can disrupt coil timing with it. Kodos, if you have Kodos, you want to devour as fast as possible because it takes away their damage per second as fast as possible, and then pull the Kodo out of the front line also as fast as possible because they die very quickly to Undead Fiend Focus Fire. Chaos, XTC Chaos just messaged me, so I'm going to give him a huge shout out. Shout out to Paul, aka XTC Chaos. I'm recording my audio, buddy. Don't talk. As far as the undead player goes, whatever gets ensnared, you want to be casting Frost Armor on that. Whatever the Blade Master's focusing, if it's not ensnared, pull it back right away. If it is ensnared, cast Frost Armor on it. If you have the option between coiling a Frost Armor, coiling an ensnared unit and a non-ensnared unit, coil the ensnared unit and then burrow if it's a fiend, burrow or pull back the unit that's not ensnared. Yeah. What else? The unfortunate thing is I re-recorded this audio and I had like a 20-minute session where I went into battle micro, and now I've forgotten almost everything I said. Here's a really good trick, and it works for undead as well as human and any race with a unit and orc especially. If you have raids, for example, with orc, and you're running into a battle, the raiders and the Blade Master are almost always the first things that end up in battle because the Blade Master is fast. He probably has boots of speed. The raids are the only fast move speed unit you have. By the way, Chaos is awesome. Sorry, guys. Sorry to digress. So the raids are going to be probably, because the undead player should be focusing raiders to minimize the amount of ensnares that come out. The raiders also get into battle first. They're going to be the first thing that's focused. So when I'm orc and I'm running into a battle, I can pretty much guess which raider he's going to focus before he started focusing it. So I select that raider, and just as the fiends start to, you can see them all aim to that one raider, I pull the raider back, and he'll take like half to 75% life worth of damage, but then I pull him back far enough that he's out of the battle and out of range of the fiends, and now the fiends are going to kind of run towards that raider and towards my army. So I've minimized the distance between my army and the fiends, and I've wasted a good amount of fiend damage, which I can cancel out with a healing wave on that raider. And that same trick works for undead. The Death Knight so often, because the Death Knight's fast and it has Unholy Aura, it's going to lead the fiends into battle. So often, undead players make the mistake of running their Death Knight right into the Grunt Raid Blade Master combo and taking like 200 unnecessary damage at the start of the fight. So that's something you need to minimize. On that same level, if you have to run from an orc, you can't port, and it's always better to port usually because of ensnare. If you have to run from an orc, don't just right-click with your entire army onto your base. Right-click with your fiends to your base, and then manually control your Death Knight to keep him near your fiends, so that they still have Unholy Aura on them when they're running away. And that way, they become that much faster depending on what level your Unholy Aura is. So anyways, that's pretty much it for this audio. Again, anyone who wants to PM me with questions, people have sent me replays asking for comments. Go ahead. You can definitely whisper me on Battle.net. Just try to make sure I'm not in a game. Because I probably won't be able to answer if I am. Clan Vane, I'm in that channel. Whenever I'm on Battle.net, most likely I'm in that channel, so definitely drop by. Say hi. Questions you have, comments, criticism. Guys, I really appreciate the criticism. I think I'm working on my quality issues, the recording quality, I'm not sure. But yeah, that's it. Stop signing out.